Hello, Attactioneers. Welcome to the Attack Action Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Morrow, international man of mystery.
I'm your host, Colin Honigman, the handiest guy in this house.
And I'm your host, Blake Meyer, and the rehearsal is back. Nathan Fielder, take me wherever you want me to go.
For some reason, Blake, I just have been, okay. I thought you were going to say Blake Griffin, and that's because it's playoff time for the NBA, and for some reason, that's just where my brain defaulted to, because the Clippers are in the playoffs. Shout out to Los Angeles, and for
Half
some reason,
of Los Angeles, please. Or it's
60,
maybe one quarter.
65% of Los Angeles. I, for some reason, thought your name was Blake Griffin, and then you said Blake Meyer, and I was like, right, that's the correct one. So anyway,
you thought he was going to introduce himself as Blake Griffin because of basketball reasons?
No, just I thought Blake's name earnestly was Blake Griffin for a hot second.
Oh, I mean, Taylor, are those brand new glasses?
He is sporting the NBA beard right now, you know, the strong beard jaw situation.
I've been on the road for 82 games this season, and I just gotta grow this beard or else I'll have too many chores when we're on the road.
Dude. That's why I got mine.
I grew a beard while I was in London and then shaved it off. Anyway, here we are, episode 110A or just 110?
It's just 110.
110, baby. We are three people of the four. Zayne is currently in the highlands, gallivanting around with his very lovely wife, and he won't be back until next episode, which we're going to record next week. We're going to do a twofer situation here with Pro Tour London. So when Zayne gets back, we'll be off schedule, I believe, a little bit. You'll have an episode a little sooner than normal, but we will be talking about our experience in London, playing in the Pro Tour, and that whole weekend when Zayne's here. But with just the three of us, more handsome boys, we are just going to talk about the keynote. So we're going to do like a shorter episode, and I'm going to say that in quotations. That's going to be shorter.
It can't be shorter with that long-winded of an explanation of what this episode is about.
How would you have done that? Zayne's not here, so we're just going to talk about the keynote. Done. Was that entertaining? I doubt it.
I was equally entertained.
Okay, whatever. I could have my Blake moments, all right? My Blake Griffin moments.
Yeah, I was going to say your Blake Griffin moments. I don't know what those are.
Shout out to Dunk City.
I was also confused. Anyways, we don't need to talk about our scheduling of the podcast on the podcast. That's what we talk about in Discord. So yes, this one will be about the keynote. All the things that James told us directly to our faces and not in any kind of weird way.
No speculation, no results of the tournament, solely keynote, facts, and fact checking.
Yeah. We got fact checking. Nice. Okay. I want to fact check everything that James White said. Because you can't just believe people when they say shit. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I would never believe anything anyone told me off the cuff.
Not anymore, anyway.
That's true.
I need references.
Great. Well, we'll get into those references in a moment. But first, we'll check in to see how everyone's doing. Taylor just got back from his first international overseas plane flight.
That's true. It was not my first time out of the country, but my first time overseas out of the country, first time on a plane over 6 hours, first time not feeling like I was going to vomit while flying. So that was super great. First time getting an in-flight meal, which if you don't know, if you fly to the UK, they will give you gluten-free meals. A huge stress of mine, and then I was fine. So that was fucking sweet that they had that. And it was delicious. Loved it the whole time. I felt like I was not flying first class, but it felt first class when they're like, "Oh, here's your special meal, sir." And I was like, "Thank you." I got my food like before everybody else, and
then you try to eat it like this, and you're like, "This is so fancy. I can barely move, but I can cut this gluten-free." I don't know what they fed you, but there's chicken over beans,
close,
some kind of lentil.
Yeah. There you go.
Chicken parm without the fried part, just marinara sauce.
Yeah. Nailed
and then
it.
You're like, it's terrible.
Chicky parm?
It was delicious, which I was surprised.
Great.
I was very surprised. So, yeah, it was great. Like all of the things I was really worried about, specifically vomiting, and then second, specifically starving to death. None of those things happened, and it was fucking great.
That's tight. I'm glad you didn't.
Wasn't a Smash Palace?
No.
Yeah. Did you take Blake's advice and eat a bag of Cheetos before getting on the plane? That was what we said, right?
That is what you said. I did not do that.
All right. So the test case didn't get fully executed. We'll have to come back with the results later on the next trip.
Well, I have to ask Zayne when he's here. Did he
if he ate Cheetos? Yeah.
Yeah, if he ate Cheetos.
We can.
So where were you standing during this keynote? Were you at the front? Were you in the very back? Were you walking around the country instead?
I did not see you in the front.
No, I was not in the front. I didn't realize that everybody was going to kind of post up very early to this. And then I also didn't realize that apparently everybody there on Thursday is very fucking tall. As a like slightly above average guy, I was not worried. But then when I was there in standing room in the back, I was like, why the fuck is everybody so tall right here? So we had to dual screen it where Levi, shout out to Levi, had his phone pulled up with the keynote going, and we could hear stuff, and I could see James, but you could not see either of the TV monitors they had with the stuff on it for most part. To like be able to read it, you could see what it was, but you couldn't like read it. It was big enough to read, but it was like there's like a tall dude in the way. So
that almost seems like the best way to do it
is to be standing and not be able to see and use a phone.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of was okay. There's some stuff where there's like some energy that you kind of miss because you can't read it, and so you're like waiting like 90 seconds for it to pop up on your phone, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's why everybody was excited.
Living Legend is now 2,000 points, and everyone's back to being legal.
That would have been crazy. But obviously, well, maybe not obviously if this is your first episode, but it was my first in-person keynote, and yeah, you get hyped when you're there. I think this was
for Pro Tour LA.
Not for the keynote.
He flew in that night, I think, and we just hung out.
Oh my god! So you missed the people yelling feet?
Yeah, I did. I wasn't there Thursday. We just hung out. I came in Thursday and then we hung out Friday. But I think this was a particularly good keynote. Like in terms of the keynotes we have seen, this one was very good. Maybe it's because they had a lot of pokers in the fire and then they finally pulled them out of the fire and we're like, oh, this is how hot this is. So they had laid like some foundation and then we kind of got like a lot of information.
Said, "Oh, this is how hot this is."
Yeah. So should we're just moving into this now? Should we just keep going? We're just going, right?
No, you didn't let either of us talk.
No, okay. I don't know. Blake asked me about it, so I talked about it. That's Blake's fault.
Did you watch the rehearsal, Colin?
No, I actually I didn't see the first season.
All right. So close your laptop right now and just go watch it. We'll come back and ooh, that's so sick. I think rehearsal could be the best show of all time. And the fact that season 2 just like dropped on 420 was like, okay, cool. There's no weed about it at all, but it's like his show like mind bends you more than anything ever. And like back when you were getting used to it week by week, you're like, oh, I can kind of see where it's going, what's coming. But last night there was a period where I was like, that's crazy. That worked out so well for him. And then he like pulls behind the curtain and is like, oh, thanks for practicing with me. And I was like, oh my God. Like, do you know the general basis of the show or like,
yeah, like people practice doing something that they like.
It would be like, I'm pretty nervous about this Keynote podcast. So we get someone that kind of looks like Taylor and kind of looks like Colin, and we would do a 1-for-1 thing of your room of all the stuff that's there. And then I would say to fake Colin, I'd be like, hey, what's going on? And then I'm worried that Taylor's going to bite my head off or whatever. And then they would do all the different things. But what's crazy about this episode is it's about airline safety, of how some planes have crashed because the co-pilot hasn't spoke up enough, because they're like afraid they're going to lose their job, and then they just die instead. And it's like, wow, this is super relevant to like all those plane crashes that came out, or not came out, but that happened.
Released
all those plane crashes that got released earlier this year.
Yeah, plane 2, you know. Cool. I didn't watch season 1. It seemed
it's the best show that has happened in my lifetime. Yes.
Okay, cool. Then I'll watch it, because I like your opinion about stuff most of the time. I would say a lot of the time. I guess most of the time. Does most of the time count as, I mean, like a substantial amount of time? That's what I'm trying to say.
Like, is most of the time like an underhanded rating versus all, a lot of the time sounds more positive.
Yeah. I'm trying to be positive in what I'm saying.
Yeah, it sounds positive. You're doing great.
Yeah. You did a good job.
Yes.
All right. I got to watch it. I feel like, I don't know if Jess would like it, so I'd have to see if I can get her to watch it with me, because that's the easiest way to watch any show, is if it's together. But, we got a lot going on. Last of Us season 2 is coming out. The things are busy.
Colin, did you play those video games?
I played the first one, and I haven't played the second one.
Okay.
Because it came out in like 2022 or something. It was like during kind of like tail end of pandemic or whatever, in the pandemic. And I wasn't playing video games because they stressed me out for a while. So I didn't play the second one. So yeah, I don't know. The first one was good. First season of the show was good.
Yeah, it was very good. Blake, did you play those video games?
I watched my roommate play them mostly. Of like, it was a very cinematic experience. I haven't touched the controllers at all, but it was like, oh, this stuff is good. And like, whether I'm on my phone or paying attention, and like that first video game, the first one, whenever it ends and like rolls credits on the revelation, is like, oh shit, like that was sick. Like narratively, that's cool. And now I'm going to talk about Last of Us 2. So for last year too, it was very like fuck this shit because no spoilers, but why make us do this? This is annoying. Everything I liked about the first one immediately goes out the window for the second one, and it's like this. I think this was the time where everyone heard the words "subvert expectations," and that became a meme. Right whenever this second game came out, and it was like, hey, whenever it's a beloved game and there's expectations, how about we just meet the expectations? Why would we subvert them and be like, this is the greatest storytelling thing of all time? It's like, no, thank you. Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. Have you guys both played it? I guess I should have asked that first.
Well, I answered that before, but I have not played the second one.
Oh, okay, perf.
I know a lot of people. I've only heard people mostly talk glowingly about it, so I don't know. I think it might have been one of those things where at first people were upset, and then over time people are like, "No, this is a great game." I think anytime you have a long pause between things and then a follow up, it's going to be scrutinized differently.
Last of Us Part 1, 2013. Last of Us Part 2, 2020. I played neither of them, which is fine. I don't do a lot of video games, and I just don't have a PlayStation. And they're a PlayStation exclusive, but I think they're probably on PC now. So I could play them, but I feel like now it's just like, we've had too much of it to play it. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make sense, and I should just fucking do it. I don't know.
Depends if you like it. You don't have to.
It's true. I have so many things to play and already. So I got to finish Ghost of Tsushima already. So we got to get there first.
Nice. All right. Well, I'll watch the rehearsal and I'll report back.
Great.
I will also watch it and report back.
Great.
Text me whenever you're like, oh my God, that blew my mind.
I will. I'll probably post it up in the Discord, which is
in our new area to watch TV and movies in.
Yeah, totally. Our new channel that Blake started, TVs and Movies. If you want to talk to Blake about the rehearsal, you can join our Patreon and get access to the Discord, to an elite group of super fans that have a super great community. We're learning a lot about Patrick's dating life, and Coach Nate is coaching him up through it, which is great. We're loving
hates
that.
Prism.
Saka. Yeah, he hates Prism. Hashtag
and
H8 Prism.
Patrick also thinks not as fun. I like how they both repeated that multiple times, even though I was just like, I don't know, it seems fun to me. And they're like, nope, hate it. It's not as fun. Like, you just said that.
Zayne posted some food the other day, and all of us said that looks delicious. So, if this,
I think we said that looks good as hell.
Oh yeah, thank you. That looks good as hell. If this doesn't sound like the best time, then go fuck yourself.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's good. We have a nice time in here.
It's great.
That's all we'll say about that.
Speaking of the Discord, also, shout out to Scott, who's in our Discord and is a fan of the show. I had not met Scott in person previous to London, and he's we live on the same coast, and it took us an entire 10-hour flight to finally meet each other. Scott is a giant, imposing figure who's a big sweetie and is very handsome. He's like, I don't know, like a Viking warrior, but then he's just like really nice. You know what I mean? He's got that vibe. If that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Scott's cool.
Scott is great. One of my favorite people. And he was the table judge for most of the Pro Tour for the whole weekend. So if you saw...
it's got to be nerve-wracking.
handsome hand kind of slide in there and be like, hey, do something with this dice. That was him.
I will say we didn't have any crazy judge controversies this time. So is that a correlation? Who's to say? I'll leave the fact checkers. I'll let the fact checkers check that one out.
I'll check it right now. Facts say Scott. Scott's the reason.
Scott's good.
He's good.
Give Scott more of that sweet judge packs.
Absolutely. We had a full English breakfast Monday morning together.
Nice.
Yeah.
I get down on that blood sausage, you know.
We didn't have blood sausage. It was blood pudding and sausage.
Blood pudding. That's what it is. Yeah.
And bacon and beans.
Yep.
And eggs.
And
hash browns. Some toast. Mushrooms. And tomatoes. Which they had, shout out to Barry's. If you're over in the XL neighborhood, go to Barry's. It has so little ambiance. It has so much ambiance. You know what I mean? And Terry, who's not Barry, runs it as a one-man show. He's fucking awesome.
Terry runs Barry's. Why is it Barry's then?
Okay. Do you want me to get into this? Because this is a long story. He told me.
Wait, was Zayne with you too?
No, just Levi.
All right, I want to know.
Okay. But so first you can get fresh tomatoes or tomatoes from the tin, which I prefer tinned tomatoes in this context. Anyway, Barry's is named after a guy who used to have an ice cream shop in the same place. And there's like a school right down there, and there's another school right over there. And Barry used to be around all the time. And Terry used to get ice cream from him. And he was like, ice cream is friggin' rad. I'm going to have like a truck or something and sell ice cream. And then he sold ice cream. And then Barry died. And he was like, well, shit, I want to continue this ice cream thing. Maybe I'll just friggin' buy this place now that Barry's dead.
It's what Barry would have wanted.
Yeah. So then he bought it. And he was like, Barry's a mate. So we got to have it. And then that was an ice cream place and it failed. And then he still had the building and he was like, well, Barry was great. So if I ever start up another business, I'm going to name it Barry's. And then he was like, okay, let's make breakfast now and ice cream because I'm an ice cream guy and so is Barry. Let's call this place Barry's. And I was like, wow, great. So you're not Barry. He's like, no, I'm Terry. So we had breakfast there every day except for Sunday because he's closed. Then on Monday,
you didn't go to his house on Sunday,
dude. His fucking Levi ordered tomatoes with his breakfast, and he was like, "We only got them in the tin," and he was like, "Oh dang, I wanted like fresh ones." And Terry was like, fuck it, I'll get you fresh ones, and just like whips off his chef's coat, and he's wearing like a full gray tracksuit, and just fucking runs out the door. Literally runs out the door to the market, grabs tomatoes, runs back and fries up some fucking tomatoes for Levi. This is the kind of service you get at Barry's from Terry. But on Monday, there was a woman there and I was like, oh, you got the missus working with you. And he was like, no. I was like, oh, okay, sorry. He's like, this is my ex-wife's mother. He's like, she pops down every once in a while to help me, and we were visiting or whatever, and she comes up to the counter and she's like, visit later, get him the order now. And he was like, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
What a life this
Getting
man
him
lives.
in trouble with his ex-mother-in-law.
I know. So you gotta go. That's all I'm saying.
Shout
go to
out
Barry's.
Barry's.
Yeah. Fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
how do we segue? Shout outs, more shout outs. Shout out to everybody, all 5 of you maybe, who said hi to me or said you love the podcast to me personally. I really appreciate that. That was really great. It would have been awesome if that had happened around other content creators so that they know I'm also fucking famous. I don't know how many times like I was.
Can you sign my hunter's clave, please?
Just hanging out with Majin Bay, just like, and somebody walks up to, I love your stuff, blah, 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 blah. Over there with Lupin Fiasco, like, hey, I love your stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just standing right next to him. And I'm like, but anyway, the people who did do that, it was great. Shout out to Jim at the merch booth. I bought extra merch because he was a fan, or at least he said he was. I don't know.
It's a good strategy for the merch.
Good
strategy
got me.
Oh, I love your stuff. What's it called again? The reaction step with Bob.
Yeah, exactly. That was awesome. A few other people. Somebody, while we were like doing sealed decks, just like turned around their seat and was like, "Hey, love the show." And I was like, "Freaking thank you, love that." So that's really great. Keep doing that if you see any of us anywhere. So thank you. Shout out to all of you who did that. I was running out of the convention center to go pee, and somebody looked at me knowingly, and I was like, "Do I know that guy?" And they were just like, "Love your stuff." And I was like, "Thank you. I have to pee." That was a good moment we shared there also.
Nice.
Shout out to Erica Forslov. Once day one draft ended, we walked past each other and I tapped her on the shoulder and I asked her if her draft critically popped off. And she said, "Maybe." And I don't think she knew who I was and really what that reference was. So
shout her out. Shout her out.
Shout her out. I hope her draft critically popped off.
I only assume that it did.
We can only hope so. So there you go. Those are my shout outs for this episode.
Nice. I was going to shout out the Pitch It To Me podcast because I was in a fabby mood after watching the Pro Tour, and I was like, I want to listen because lately I haven't been listening to a lot of other podcasts because it's just like a lot, and I don't always enjoy it. So I dipped back into some of the local boys stuff, and I really liked it. I appreciate their insight, and they had a whole April Fool's episode that was like, at first I thought my brain was broken because they were like doing a tier list, and they rated CYB like 6 times, but after it was like every other thing they rated was CYB. Like, oh, it's an F tier card, and then the next time you're like, oh, it's a D tier card. And I was just like, wait, he just talked about this. I was like cleaning while I was listening, and I thought like I was dying, but it was funny. That's a good bit. It was a good long bit. But yeah, shouting out those boys. I enjoy their stuff. If you haven't listened to it, they had a good one on Cleric and what that kind of homebrew idea could be for a Cleric class, and they had some really fun ideas there that I thought was cool. So just like a different way of thinking about the game that I had fun with. So
hell yeah, they were at Pro Tour 2 of 3.
Nice.
Talked with Clark mostly. Shout out to Clark
and everyone, the whole podcast. I shout out the whole podcast.
Oh yeah. I was piggybacking.
No, okay, good.
Yeah.
But mostly Clark. Joel's our boy. He's an OG listener. Anyways, that's it. Should we now finally talk about the keynote?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. So, okay, the keynote was I thought it was pretty cool. We'll just start from top to bottom, and then I think we could do this not quickly, but there's some stuff that I think we could talk about for minutes. There's some stuff we could talk about for hours, but then there's some stuff that's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think they talked about a lot of things. I think kind of overall World Tour, Armory deck product releases, the whole Mastery Pack Smash Palace stuff. And then like High Seas is kind of like everything they covered. I think, World Tour, it's like, yeah, we're going to a lot of places. I thought one of the really interesting things was they're going to Germany because they were certified by the whatever kind of legal entity there is in Germany that you have to be certified to have a cash prize tournament for. And I did some like research on this, which was like interesting because like you can gamble there, but to do this kind of tournament, you have to prove that it's a game of skill, and it was certified as a game of skill by the government or governing body in Germany. So I thought that was like pretty interesting, one, to know that that's a thing, and also that like, I mean, obviously we know, but I guess, they don't always watch like the rips off the top to see someone win a game just based off the one card they drew at the top. But a lot of skill leading up to that one card. So I thought that was fun. And then Auckland, they're doing some like alpha draft shit for Welcome to Wraith, which is like very cool for everyone who can afford to go to New Zealand for.
Yeah, the final time that'll be offered.
Yeah. Crazy.
So crazy.
They better open something good.
I think the Battle Hardened First Edition Arc Seal sounds like, oh, okay. They'd never touched that before.
They said that that's like the last of that too. It's like they're kind of just like, or they said they're saving it for the 10-year anniversary because they're thinking long term. I'm just like, way to bet on yourself, guys.
Yeah, well, let's get through Mistveil blowing up the whole fucking meta real quick first, boys.
Seems like we
did. Count your blessings, Bravo deck. That's going to push everyone around for the next 6 months first.
Nice. And then we have a bunch of Armory decks coming out.
Totally. Which one do you want to talk about more in-depthly first of all of these things?
Well, Maxes has happened.
Maxes happened.
Have you guys started to see the Maxes on Talishar yet? Or did anybody have it already ready to play when like, there was somebody in my locals who was like, I printed out all the cards on proxies and they were talking about if it was good or not. But I think there is some like, hey, is it going to not break the game? It seems like it's very close to being something that you can break, but then also, why wouldn't you just play the Mechanoid? And then maybe there's sometimes it's Mechanoid, sometimes it's Bank Breaker, and you're doing like that's in your sideboard of which one would you do? Because I don't know if you can do both. Those are the questions that I've heard come up. And then I finally did play 2 of them on Talishar today, but it did not seem like they knew how to block Dory, or Dory is an absolute awful matchup for them because they have items still, because you still have to play those.
Right.
What are they called?
The hyperdrivers?
Hyperdrivers. But I think all the brand new equipment, that seems like where the money is in that deck of like, now my hyperdrivers can stick around a whole turn longer. My hyperdrivers can be used for all these different things for my equipment. So I'm assuming there's at least one crazy max deck. Nobody won on it this past weekend, I don't think. Let me make sure. I'll go look.
I mean, I think it looks cool. It's the first time that I have been like, oh, maybe I'll pick up this Armory deck for a non-hero we don't already have. Like I picked up Jarl because I don't have Jarl. I don't have the Jarl cards because you go and get them.
No max winners.
It's early still, but it seems cool. I appreciate it, and it makes me want to buy it so I can play it.
I have no interest, but I'm glad people are excited about it.
Hell yeah! Way to be
what I do have interest in is Mr. Gravy Bones coming out with his own CC deck. I don't know. I'm just excited for a necromancer.
Yeah, I think that's a big win to have. It's a new class, right? So it's a way to get a few extra cards into that class for that hero. B, huge win for it to release with the set release, because then it makes it so much easier for you to get into the game when you show up at the store and you're like, I just played sealed. Freaking Gravy Bones has a terrible name, but he's got a great vibe that I would like to play more of. So I'll just pick up this armory deck and see if these cards I got from this sealed pool I can put in there. You know?
And we have a new pirate ally called Sawbones Dockhand, which this will be
he's
the
a
one.
doctor with a hand. Dockhand.
What?
Sawbones is a doctor name.
The next time your pirate you control would be dealt damage this turn, prevent one of that damage. So if it is kind of like, I'll just Kadachi your rigor mortis guy, and they'll go, nope, you won't. I'm going to go ahead and Sawbones and save him. Which I think is like, oh, okay, now you got to kill Sawbones first.
Oh, okay.
First you got to see bones, and then you can say you saw bones. Right? Never mind.
If you see bones, you don't got to saw bones. I do. Here's one thing that I will say. It seems like on the keynote that it's way better. Whatever. This is the worst the spoilers have ever been in Discord. Like, multiple things have been missed. Still to this day, there's not a spoilers thing where all 40 things are in a row from this at all. Whoever wants to make a bunch of money doing their own Twitter collection of news, let's do it. Am I not following the right person on Twitter? I didn't go to BlueSky. I haven't stuck at BlueSky. Maybe somebody's doing it on BlueSky. But it feels like this is the worst. I have to go to 7 different Twitters to grab all this stuff, which has been super annoying to talk about it with my friends, to talk about it on the podcast, because it is like, why isn't the picture of Sawbones in anything so far? Why is it only on IJVR's Twitter? And you're like, Iswardi, thank you for having this for us, but like, why do I have to go to the artist page to find a picture of this card?
It's on Fabry.
Yeah.
It wasn't a week ago whenever it was.
I did notice that too today when I was looking back. It's like none of these got posted in the spoiler channel. It's just like, bro, these are all spoilers. Like, why didn't we do this? But either way, the other thing I thought was cool about Gravy Bones Armory deck was this whole like CC Blitz support that they've built in, where they've like labeled cards that are CC, for the CC deck with a little CC at the bottom. So if you want to play Blitz, you just remove those and you're like good to go, which I thought was like just like a nice way to double dip on the product.
Yep.
So, I feel like, I thought that was a pretty big win in general. Just like, okay, they're thinking about things in a way that I, wasn't even thinking about. It was like, did we need to do that? Was it that hard to count 3 cards of each? Maybe not, but this is just like a nice, quick way of getting people ready, making sure that it works out of the box. So that's fun.
That is cool. Speaking of CC, another armory deck, Ira, which Zayne was stoked on.
Really?
He was like, yes, I love Ira.
Why do you think people love Ira? Because like certainly they haven't been playing it since she came out in November. Like, everybody's been playing other ninjas and other numbers decks.
I don't know. People really like Ira. It has never jived with me. I think she has a cool story. She has a cool power. But yeah, never has been like super pumped for me on that.
I think it's probably just she's the OG, It's like if you played the original Welcome decks, that's what you started with. And, I think the kind of emergence of her as like a really good blitz hero was also like, fun for a while. That was a thing I actually played for a bit and really enjoyed, probably mostly just winning. But that's fine. It's fun to enjoy that. So, but yeah, I think it's just it's nice just to see a diverse set of heroes that people can look up and be like, oh yeah, like I like the big gnarly ice dude, or I want the bone person, or I want the, young ninja lady. Like, it's just cool to have that. Nobody wants the guy with his tongue sticking out. That's crazy.
Speaking of tongues, who doesn't have a tongue in their hero art is Viserai and Prism.
Go.
Wait, let's do the card real quick for Myra so we don't have to go back to her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Because there's a card called Enact Vengeance, which I think is cool for two ways, because it's like, this is the first time where the combo is based off of a weapon instead of another card. Because it says if you have if the last thing you did was Edge of Autumn or a card Vengeance in its name, then this will get Command and Conquer text without the blow. They can't play D-Reacts. So Edge of Autumn support is a crazy, like, okay, this is an even more branching path of now you can maybe play this deck without Kodachis and just do one into, or what is it called? Edge of Autumn into a 2-for-6 that now becomes a 2-for-7 over and over again. Of now this is an actual deck that can be consistent. You don't have to run 0-cost blues if you don't want to. And now here's a way you can do this. I think what's going to be a pain in the ass, though, is between Enact Vengeance and the regular old Command and Conquer, you can have this Command and Conquer effect 6 times in one deck with Ira, and it'll just be like, thank God you're not going to get Kodachi to death. You just get Edge of Autumned, which is half as much. But I think that's a very interesting, like, okay, there's another branching path of this is a weapon that maybe is iconic or not really. It hasn't been played.
I think Edge of Autumn is iconic.
It just hasn't been played at all. What's your definition of iconic if Edge of Autumn's iconic? Because most people would be like, what? Which one is that? But Kodachi's, it's like, oh, everyone's gotten Kodachi to death 5,000 times.
I think Edge of Autumn is iconic because it has one of the best names of any weapon in the game. And it's super simple. It's just a sword with go again that attacks for 1. It's got great art too.
Iconic.
I think we're throwing around iconic a lot recently in this freaking game, and there's not a lot of iconic things. There's like 8 iconic things, not every random card.
Okay, name 8, all 8 of them.
All 8 iconic cards.
In no particular order.
You wish I would do that.
Tunic's got to be iconic.
Tunic, Command and Conquer, E-Strike. That's 3 right there.
Sink Below.
Yeah. That's 4. Rosetta Thorn. That's 5.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
This is America.
Rune Chants and Spectral Shields.
Oh, God.
6 and 7. You need one more. Any Dragon.
God, stop with this shit, man.
Or Frostbites.
Art of War.
Boom. There you go. We did it. That quick.
Illegal. Can't play it.
Oh, get fucked, Blake.
It's gone. That's a cool card. That does really. I like what you're saying, Blake. That it allows you to be outside of Kodachi. It allows for a different kind of deck build. I mean, if you're running 6 Command and Conquers, basically, you probably do need a good amount of blues, but like still, like it doesn't mean you're just running the 0-cost blues to power your Kodachi. So I think that's pretty that's pretty interesting. You know, as far as like a hero that's pretty just straightforward, I think that's like one of the things that people do like about Ira is that it is a little more straightforward. A lot of this game is super complicated, so just having someone who's just like, okay, I do this, and now this, like, and there's something about just that +1 on the second attack that, even though it's so simple, it's just like every now and then you're just like, damn, this is crazy that I just do this every single time. You know, it's like pushing all your breakpoints. And I think that's a big draw for people. And honestly, looking at that card, I'm like, yeah, I'd play a fucking Ira. Yeah. Sounds great.
Speaking of Ira, you can spell Ira in the word visceri.
Oh.
And almost prism if you add in armory deck. Pretty good, huh?
I guess so, yeah.
So there's Living Legend armory deck.
Pretty good.
Boom. Visceri and Prism are coming back as their own LL armory decks.
I think I got two things to say. This is dope, and I hate that it's only available at conventions.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Totally. I don't know. Yeah. One hat seems better than the other hat, which are the like exclusive spoilers.
Which hat? These hats? The Helm of the Arc Knight.
There you go. Yeah. Helm of the Arc Knight just has temper, and then Halo of Lumina Light has other stuff and Spell Void. I heard somebody say maybe there's going to be a card that references equipment that has the word Arc Knight in it. So you have Grasp and Helm. But other than that, there's like more choice helmets, right, that you would want to run.
I mean, this is basically like the $270 card that we used to buy from whatchamacallit.
Oh,
the helmet. Block 2 and then block 1, but only if you have less health.
Skullcap. Arcanite Skullcap.
Which is
that was the best card for the longest time.
Was very good. I mean, yeah, so like normally Runeblades just run a hat that blocks 2, right? So this is just that, but in the armory deck, I suppose. So you just get that ability right away. Not fucking around.
Also, tournament legal. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Means you can use it in a tournament.
For Living Legend, it's like everything's legal in that shit. Okay, so here's where
this is CC legal. Like it's just Runeblade and Light Illusionist. So.
I think it's saying in the poster, this will be legal in tournaments September 26th.
Oh, these 2 cards. Gotcha. I believe that. I believe you now. Got it. I think this is where this is not Blake being negative, or here we go. I kind of hate that it's like, hey, it's at conventions, so they're going to be $1,000 for no reason or something, even though they're $59.90. We live near San Diego. There's no shot we're going to even get close to this. Whoever can get to the WATA booth is going to be like, oh, I'm going to scalp the hell out of these. And it's like, more power to you because you're the one who stood in line for 10 years or 10 hours or whatever. The other thing is Living Legend armory decks before Olympia gets an armory deck or before insert person who's number 32 on the list, number 33 on the list, Teklo-Vasen armory deck. Like, I don't know if anything went into these decks of actual design or if it was like, no, just print the best Living Legend list and then they can fill in the gaps. But if any kind of design went into these that took away from maybe some other, like, it is frustrating if you are somebody who's very excited for Olympia to come in and get one good card and it's like, no, don't worry. Prism is getting fed a 9th time before you get your chicken nuggets. And you're like, hasn't Prism eaten twice already? Like, she's already on her 2nd hero. And you're like, yeah, but everybody loves Prism. And you're like,
she ate.
Everybody loves a lot of heroes. Can we get stuff for them? And I don't know. It's also interesting that Viserai wasn't Living Legends when this was in development. So a good thing that he did go when he did, because it was like, this is in the pipeline.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they were going to release it at a later date, and then now here's the opportunity. Who knows? But I don't know. I think it's cool.
I think it's fun. I mean, I guess part of the benefit of not selling it at like stores is that the average person won't get confused and buy an LL deck and try to bring it to a CC tournament or armory and immediately be like, what the fuck? Why did you sell this to me? So it's like, for people who know the game are going to like seek this out. But yeah, it does feel like, hopefully they don't put other cards in it that are like brand new and cool.
Oh, they definitely are going to.
Because then that's when it's going to start feeling bad of like, well, this is so exclusive. No one can really get it, but I guess it doesn't matter because it's Living Legend, except for Prism, who still exists in CC. So if there's any just good light illusionist cards, we're all cooked for sure. Because we gotta have those.
Those helmets are going to be the only brand new cards, and the rest is just old stuff, according to what I think I got from the keynote. But
yeah, and those are in gem packs, which I thought that was a good touch.
Yeah.
It seemed thoughtful. So we'll see how it goes. I like the idea of it. I would probably just want them as little collector's items in their fun shaped boxes rather than to open them. But because look at that purple. That purple would look so good, like right up there.
Look at that purple.
Dude, right next to this purple.
Hell yeah.
Oh, shit. Viscera in the back of you right now.
Yeah, he's with me always. And so is Mark Ruffalo. All right. Should we go on to the Mastery Pack Guardians?
Yeah.
All right. This I was not into this whole thing because they've been talking about it for like 2 years and they just never gave us any information. So it was like, it just seems like an expansion set for Guardians, but I mean, it is, but it's cool that you can play crack shuffle play with it. Like it's still got a little limited, thing going on where you can just open some packs and play a game. And I think that's really fun addition to add to this kind of product. So that was like my biggest thing. Everything else is just like cool. It's like Valda, like Valda's fine. She's cool. But yeah, some of the stuff in it is crazy looking. Like all the Marvels are like wild looking.
Yeah, for the seismic surges based on where they are in Wraith.
Yeah.
What I thought this was going to be the whole time was kind of like a living card game set product. Like here's this box and here's all the cards you get in it. Not actual booster packs that you get in like a smaller box and it's random. But that it does do crack shuffle play is pretty cool. I do like that. I am on the fence whether or not I am going to buy this personally. The crack shuffle play does seem exciting. And I do really like Valda, and I'm like a secret Guardian lover. So maybe I will get this stuff. I don't know. But I think it's a cool idea for a product. Clearly, I will get the Assassin one when that comes out, probably next year.
This is
after the Prism one comes out.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Kill me. like, oh, those look so cool. August 8th. I think originally they were supposed to come out in April. So that's a layer that I think is like, we could be opening this right now with their original timeline. So that's an interesting, like, I wonder why they set it back. Was it like we need a little bit more cooking time, or we want the meta to have the high seas heroes first before we start blasting them with seismic surge stuff? But I think Valda's new specialization is kind of interesting to me. Put them in their place. If this hits you and it crushes you, they discard your hand and draw that many cards. That's like the first kind of card that we've had that could maybe be seen as like a mill card since Miller's Grindstone. So maybe Homegirl could just run you out of cards as her win condition, which would be, okay, let's go. I like that. I've been waiting for a hero like that, but I don't know if that's like, oh, you're probably going to randomly kill them with the damage instead. And you're like, oh.
Well, it also will create seismic surge tokens for her. So if you crush them somehow and they got to discard their hand, then boom, 4 seismic surges. For some reason, they didn't block with cards in their hand, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, it feels like you have the ability to set up a bit of an engine there if you set up like a second cycle, a couple of these in a row, just like boom, boom, boom.
With a pummel.
Yeah.
We got another Guardian defense reaction too, which is don't give them more defensive options.
Okay, that's really interesting though. So if they discard their hand, you can order it, right, so that the pummel comes after they draw up again. Mm-hmm. Is that right? Mm-hmm. That's really funny.
Yeah.
I will hate that when that's done to me, but that's really funny.
Yeah. Well, then you have all these seismic surges, and then you can play solid ground that you then arsenal. When they don't have that many cards. Boom.
Perfect.
0
Perfect.
For 5.
Yeah.
Did they straight up say it's built around Valda?
Yeah, they did.
I missed that in the keynote.
James did say that.
Yeah, which I thought that was interesting. Just kind of like it's like the next step up from an armory deck. It's like we're gonna release a mini set that's focused on one hero in a class, but obviously all these things can be used with any Guardian. But yeah, pretty, I don't know, more interesting than I thought it would be for sure. And it's like $50 for a box,
Yeah, if this was my class I played, I would be fucking stoked. Yeah. If I was a Guardian main, I would be like, this is so freaking cool.
Yeah. I'd buy one just to crack shuffle play, if like 4 of us hung out, like boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Buy it. It's cheaper than a full box, and it's got some cool shit in it.
Yeah, and I'm sure if you pull some card out of here, it's worth $50.
The old ones are sick.
They're crazy.
Do all these things cost $6?
Yeah.
6.
They're all 6 for 10s.
666, baby. Let's go.
Oh.
Which most of our stuff was 7 for 10s back in the day, and these have heave. So I think that's interesting. Of like, all of the numbers are getting higher, but none of the crush matters unless you're playing against Guardian opponents.
Right. And so I think that's how they balance it, right?
Yeah. Which is weird, but cool. It's like, I feel like this will make these cards be more accessible if you just want one to look at. But yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. August 8th, baby.
Cool. I guess that leads us into the cringe portion of the announcement, which was the Smash Palace. The thing that makes me more embarrassed to tell people about this game because of it. And just like,
why would you be nervous?
It's all right. Okay, so look. Okay.
I feel like I will if I brought this to work. I wouldn't get in trouble at my job, but I feel like you could get in trouble. Like this is like kind of weird and edgelordy in a way that's like I don't know. I think it's embarrassing. That's just me, but I don't care. Let's talk about what's in it.
Okay, look, as a now single man out in these streets, you go on a date and you have an arachne tattoo on your hand. And when you get this arachne tattoo, you're like, I probably won't have to explain this like a bunch of times to strangers in a row or whatever. And then you do. And then they're like, "Oh, what's that game called?" And you have to say Flesh and Blood, and you're just so embarrassed, you know. So this is in alignment with the life choices I have made leading up to this point. So
it's great. You know, it's fine. It is what it is. Smash Palace, Social Play UPF box set, which I believe comes with packs in it.
It does.
Okay.
It's like all, which also I don't get.
12 packs, I think.
Yeah. Well, like, okay, I was confused when I looked at this and then I saw went back and watched the full keynote. Like, you have Smash Palace. It comes with these cards. If you want to replay, I think the idea is that you like get another Guardian Mastery pack or whatever, or box, and then you just use the event deck. And it's like the idea is that the event deck and the heroes you get in the Smash Palace are the thing that kind of carries over to different game sessions.
I also thought maybe there was like after you crack shovel play here, you could then just keep those cards in the Smash Palace and have some sort of draft out of those cards, whether you quilt drafted or you put them all in a pile, or
I'm sure someone will come up with it, but yeah, that doesn't seem to be like the official
totally
thing, which
it does come with like a little booklet, and I hope, which he didn't say this in the keynote, but which makes me think it's not going to happen, but it should have like those formats in it on how to just replay with your $70, if there's going to be a booklet. You know what I mean?
I mean, if we had a magnifying glass, I didn't get the card that we saw, the two horses running into each other of the mat. It's also in this booklet of, that's like a spoiler card that we don't know what it is yet. So too bad we can't zoom into there.
The two horses running. I don't know what you're talking
about. Right there. You see those three cards on the second page?
Yeah.
That third one we saw as a playmat in the UK, but we don't know what the card is called or what it does.
Gotcha. Okay.
One thing that I think, okay, Blake, say what you're going to say negative. Here you go. I'm excited to play Smash Palace. I think it'll be interesting, but I'm a little bit perplexed why. Okay, we can only teach new players Guardian. And I don't know if that was a thing that they got based off of our last, I don't know, is it failed? I don't know. Round the Table. Is Round the Table failed? Like, we had 4 separate heroes, 4 different classes. Why was Bard one of them? That didn't really make sense, but okay. It's a cool thing because we're playing Round the Table. So was it too hard to differentiate different classes, or was it like, oh, you have a hammer, but I don't, but I like yours better? So is it like, let's have everyone be a Guardian hero? There's no difference. Everyone could get these different cards. It just blows my mind because some of these people don't look like Guardians in what I've been trained to do. And like, I think another thing based on the Guardian Mastery Pack, based on the Smash Palace, there's going to be Guardian cards that are there going to be legal in here, not from Smash Palace, but you can bring them in from Guardian Mastery. That's Bravo, that's Victor, that's Cox, Crix, I think is her name, and then we still don't know these two people's names. These are cool designs that could have been like one of these is a brute or somehow, or like, and like I think what's frustrating me is Valda is the 7th adult hero for Guardian when my favorite class brute has 3. And it's like we want a mastery pack, and it's like currently Starvo has more living legend points than all of the brute heroes combined. And it's like, why are we doing more layers of Guardian stuff? Like, what is the actual thing you're trying to tell me so I can get it through my thick fucking skull right now? Of like, we don't care about brute, or like, just jump on this Guardian class because we're clearly supporting that. And that's how we want to balance our game, is through Guardian stuff.
They don't care about brute.
And it's like,
I'm telling you that.
Why did I
fact check me on that?
And I think what kind of sucks about this, because I can stop the broken record really quickly, but it just sucks because I spent 2 years of my life thinking you guys did, thinking, oh, don't worry, this next slot card is going to be the one that fixes it. Don't worry, this is going to be one. And I think that is the one thing from the Keynote after show where they did interviews where it was James White and Brian Gottlieb are asked, what about a blue 6? And they both like roll their eyes as hard as possible. And like, I guess we're going to have to give it to you. We're going to take our sweet time though. And we're not going to feel good about it. And it's like, I just don't know why the Guardian over the topness, how are you going to make this digestible for long time non-Guardian players? Of like, don't worry, your friends and family will finally learn Flesh and Blood if we boil it down to just Guardian. And it's like, I don't want to teach my friends and family how to play this game if through only Guardian and then they become Guardian mains. That sounds awful. like I'd rather be like, here's the 27 heroes that already exist and are super cool. I don't know. And like Smash Palace being all one hero is very interesting to me. I wish we did get the behind the scenes of like, clearly Round the Table failed, and this is another attempt at it, or all that, just knock all the BS off, knock all the whatever off of like, why is this our brand new player thing? Just it doesn't seem like, why isn't it called Guardian Hero Box board game thing? And you're like, okay, I don't know. I don't know why there's not more diversity in the hero to teach more things about this. It just seems like we're going to get like an absolute ass ton of Guardian players into the meta over the next year because they all learned through Smash Palace and their favorites are Bravo.
I think we don't know if Round the Table was successful or not. Like, probably not. We can probably assume it didn't like reach a wider audience. I think by tying this to a basically a limited set, you kind of synergize the SKUs that you have by saying like, you buy this big box, and then if you really liked it, you can buy these other little boxes and kind of keep playing with this event deck that we have. And I think by limiting what the hero is, you just make all of that easier. Like it's all Guardian cards, so you don't have to worry about balancing the number of cards or like how many things. Like Crack Shuffle Play doesn't work unless it's a mono class set. Like we've only had that in Bright Lights, and we have it now with the Mastery Pack Guardian. So I think it's a way of reducing the number of things needed to play and just focusing it on that. And none of these heroes are legal in any other format other than UPF. So this is a social play thing. It's not about anything that any competitive player wants. As far as like these heroes go, but yeah, I mean, it is an interesting choice to be like, oh, we're going all in on just Guardian for this whole like kind of big box. Like it looks like a big box, even though it seems like it doesn't need to be that big. But I think they're anyways, so yeah, I don't know. I get the idea of it logistically. I think it simplifies a lot of things, but it is definitely it's catered towards somebody, and I'm honestly not sure who that is. I think Guardian. I don't know. I think maybe Guardian is just like something that tests well for them. You know, it's big, strong people, and they hit each other hard.
Yeah, they look like fantasy heroes, I suppose. I also don't know why it's Guardian, but also like, why not? You know, it just could as easily be something else.
Let me raise my hand real quick while you say why not. I think I'm frustrated because LSS puts Eugene on the thing and goes, look how fun this brute game was. Look how over the top cool this was. It's so interesting what he's doing. He's got these different play lines. It's so whatever. But then there's not support for that, or there's not like that's a 1 in a million shot instead of like wasn't that game so cool? And like, oh, I can't remember what event that was for you. That was like something that they like that was a highlight of the stream. And it's like, why are we celebrating those highlights and not kind of like pushing people to play more of that hero? Why aren't we living in the 6 months? We just lived in the 6 months where Aurora was super good. She's probably going to LL at the end of the month, which will be insane. Why are we living in those 6 months, but we could never live in 6 months of... You want to watch Eugene speedrun this shit? Here's one super good card for him, and now the person who's played the most, who has the most XP, who travels all around the world, watch him play Reinhardt and crush every tournament real quick. Why wouldn't that be a cool experience? And obviously I'm coming from such an obtuse thing of like, what about me? What about me? What about me? It just is like, if you're going to highlight it on the thing and here in my, we needed Crack'em Shuffle Play. It's like, how many of us played Crack Shuffle Play for, and like, we do it once and then it was like, oh, okay.
I did it quite a few times. I really actually liked it in Bright Lights. That was a great idea. You know,
I mean, none of this has to do any, other than the fact that they didn't make any Brute stuff. Like none of this has anything to do with Brute. Like this.
Yeah, I'm probably why are you bringing it back around to Brute? Yeah, I get it. It's just Guardian feels like the least class that needs like if this was Ninja Palace, I'd be like, let's freaking go.
I mean, they don't do it based on need. Like this is a for-profit company trying to make the most money they can. Like they don't care outside of making sure the game isn't so broken that people leave it in droves. Like that's not their primary goal. Like
I think there's also a level of they have to do what inspires them in a way, because if they pander to what people are like, we need this, then that just teaches us that we can just be loud enough to get something like that, and then the game gets weird, right? Like what game was it that they allowed the player base to do like all of the bans and then they ruined the game and then they had to like roll them back and be like, okay, you can't do that anymore because now the game is stupid. I forget what game it is. Somebody knows and is yelling it on their commute.
Is it just Magic for Commander?
Well, whoa, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't disagree with you, Blake. I just don't see the point in arguing about it because it isn't that. And maybe they'll do a mastery, Brute set, which would be super sick. But we don't know. It took them several years to make this one thing. So I think with their general release schedule, doing these like extracurricular things is probably a challenge. And this is a big swing to get again at trying to get more casual people playing. Like none of this is like, yep, and now you just slot right into a CC tournament. This is like, no, you're at home. We want to play Flesh and Blood with your friends. This is an easy way to do it. It's simplified. You don't have to teach 4 different sets of like rules and ideas to people, because you're like, everything is Guardian. These are the main keywords. Like this is how you go. Boom. So I think it's more of just like the timing. They have a set that's coming out. It's all Guardian. So now we're doing that. But
I also wonder too if they plan on this being like a big enough deal to when then like this is your only entry point into the game, and then you're like, okay, here's Smash Palace 2. It's all pirates, and you're like, yeah, I have all 4 of the Smash Palaces. You want to play Guardians, you want to play pirates, you want to play ninjas, or whatever, So I wonder if that's part of it too, because then it starts to make more sense that it's just one class. It's kind of like in Marvel Champions, you get like a campaign box or something like that has like kind of one theme, Spider-Man or Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever, So the story or the whatever that's contained in that has that overarching theme to it. And I own a number of those and just play those and don't mix and match or whatever, So I don't know. Could be a reason too. I'm excited for it. I don't know if I will buy it. Somebody at my locals will, and 4 of us will get together and experience it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like it also seems like a step towards some kind of PvE thing. They have this, event deck where it happens every turn. Something kind of, pushes the game along in a different, interesting way. So I don't know. It just seems like a fun thing. Like you got Victor's dad's on here. It's just fun. And I think this is the kind of thing that I personally would like to see more of, is like, I don't know why it's always UPF is like, oh, this is like the fun way to play Flesh and Blood, but but I'll try it before I knock it. But yeah, again, will I be the one who buy it? I don't know.
It's the exact same price as Round the Table.
Yeah. Well, then I guess we probably shouldn't talk about Bravo being the new welcome deck.
I don't see why not. I think it's cool new art. Seems great. Great job, Bravo. He's got a new whatever it's called, hero power, action, pay 2, tap, turn a face down card in your arsenal face up. If it has crush, it gets +2 and dominate this turn, go again. So same thing, basically, but getting +2. I think it's cool. I'm excited. I will teach people the game Bravo Flattering Showman.
Yeah, I would get a couple of these just to have as well.
Yeah. Bravo's
now
cool.
Your Crippling Crush comes in for 13.
Yeah. What does Crippling Crush cost?
7.
Oh. So you gotta have 3 blues?
Mm-hmm.
Sick. Love that. Crippling Crush is not that bad of a card. I'm gonna say that right now. Used to be bad. Now it's just fine.
Nice. All right.
High seas. Yar.
Let's fucking get into it. So it is a tap symbol. I was so disappointed when he said it's tap. I'm like, dude, that's fucking trademarked. Like, but to say, it's like, it's okay if you say it, but it's just a symbol, but it's tap. And you're just like, okay, cool. We didn't even bother to come up with like a unique, legally distinct name for it, but that's fine. We all figured that out. Just it's still funny to me that they made it kind of look like a wave, and this is the ocean pirate.
Yeah. Slightly confusing for a second. It's just the shorthand now, right? For once per turn.
No, is it? No, it's not, because there's things untap at the end of your end phase, or in your end phase.
Yeah.
Well, that's not once per turn. Once per turn is both people's turns.
If it's once per turn instant.
If it's a once per turn instant, yeah. I guess, if it's this plus an action, it is. It is that, but it's also not that. Just to be clear, because now it's all confusing. But
because whenever it says the word action, oh, okay, perfect.
Once per turn, my turn. One of my turns.
Yes, but they have that symbol with action or with instant too. So
yeah.
I guess yeah. All right, you're right. It is as if you replace it with once per turn action, but you have to keep the whole thing together.
Right.
I get what you're saying. Shut up, Colin.
You confused me for a second. I was like, "Uh-oh, I'm an idiot." But now we've decided, we've walked it all through everybody's brain. We're all on the same page. Nobody's an idiot. Everybody's
both
saying the
right.
same thing. Yeah.
All right. I don't know. Wonderful. I don't know what else to talk about in this set.
I thought the spoilers were good. We got some choice ones. I think the big ones for me are the ranger weapons. I thought were really cool. None of them are on this page, which is fine.
Hammerhead harpoon cannon is kind of what we said it could possibly be. Of make big ass harpoons and give them some evasion, and that would be a way to set her apart from some of the other rangers.
Boom, there it is. Also, action, pay 4, tap, doesn't say load in arrow. So you got to do the hero ability or have one in the arsenal already, which I find pretty fascinating. And then I love Red Pine Manta is Red Spine, is basically just Redliner from the days of yore. Costs nothing, and you just put an arrow in there, fire it off. Let's go.
Boom. Yeah, I like that they decided to make the ranger weapons kind of neutral, and you can, you have a couple different routes for deck building, which I thought was interesting.
I did too. I think that's a really cool idea on how to just kind of signpost you for how to play the hero if you want.
All right,
and I think what's also interesting is instead of Hammerhead is 84 and Red Spine is 94. So maybe this is an easier, like, if you want to look at the numbers, like the next 10 cards after Hammerhead go in Hammerhead, and then the Red Spine, the next 10 cards after that go in a different one. Because normally they would be side by side.
Right.
So I don't know if that's something that I even noticed until just now. Of maybe it's like, we're going to help you as much, even more than you wanted, of like, just look at the number and here we go.
Fascinating. And this is okay.
Legendary.
When this fucking I got a lot to say about this.
What is this? For the people listening, what are we now looking at?
Polycranka, the Puffin companion offhand ally.
Woo! So when this popped up on the screen, the crowd went absolutely fucking nuts, including myself. We just got swept up in it. Polycranka's up there, and we're just going, oh my God, yes! And I'm sitting there going, yeah! Validation that the bird is a hero, and its name isn't Puffin. So call back to our last episode where I got really pissed that frickin' Puffin, whatever, the mechanologist, was not the bird, and that their name was the name of a different bird that isn't in the Caribbean. where there are pirates. But now we got Polycranka, which almost absolves them from all of their sins in this scenario. And I freaking love this idea that now we got this bird that hangs out on our shoulder and has like an ability, which basically just gets you an action point and has crank. It's awesome. I love it. It's got a little pirate hat too.
It's pretty funny. Just the length they went to support this bird in play, which is great. Like perched, the new keyword. It's offhand, but if it's perched, you can have a two-handed weapon. It has 1 health, but it doesn't attack. But you know, when you use its action, you banish it, then you return it to the arena, but it's unequipped and tap, therefore making it a target. So every time you use it, you're opening yourself up to someone killing your bird companion, which is really fucked up and funny. And just like, it's crazy that it's a legendary, but I don't know. I feel like it might be one of those ones that there's too many and they're like $10, but I don't know. Very funny. In my notes, I wrote the only reason to play mech.
So true, right? So true.
What I like about this is I think it opens up so much design for like the next couple years of we could just have companion heroes of like my hero power is 2/3 of the way there, and then 1/3 of it is my companion. So like we could make a more busted hero power. Like Polycranka is kind of busted, but if you want, you could go after the bird instead of attacking your opponent, and you probably have to. And then the Puffin player can be like, I'm going to set up my poly turn for maximum value, and then whether my opponent goes after my companion or doesn't, I can go branching past. And I think that is like those turns I think have been in the game forever, of the ALS turn, the 6 shackle turn for chain, the blank, 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 like double blood rush turn. So I think having that literally baked into how the hero works, of every single Puffin gets better when one of their 80 card list is Polycranka, that's kind of cool. And I'm excited to see in the fall, is there going to be another companion, or will we see this again where Gravy Bones has a crazy bone monkey or something? That'd be crazy.
Gravy Bones and his crazy bone monkey. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I think it is fun. I don't know. I hope they find other ways of doing things like this where you kind of break your rules to allow a fun thing that hopefully isn't too crazy, but I don't know. It could be. It does give you a fucking action point, so it's pretty
good. Yeah.
Just start. Sick. Do you start with it? Because it's equipment. Yeah, so you just start with it there.
Yeah.
Fucking love that shit. Can't wait for the alt arts and artists, customs that people do with Polycranka.
Yeah. I'm excited for them to figure out where to put this in the arena. I guess if you have a two-handed weapon, it just goes in the other weapon slide, but still cool. Yeah. Very cool. Huge win for me.
Hell yeah. And then we also saw our first pirate card. Or I guess we saw 2 pirate cards, but we'll talk about like the actually cool and interesting one. To the ship.
A pirate needs his ship. That's what James White said.
Dude, James White was giving such like cringe dad joke energy, like not even dad jokes, but just like dad trying to be like hip energy, that I was just like, oh god.
It was bad in person. It was like, all right.
Yeah. I have secondhand embarrassment, but it's fine, It is what it is.
So we have another keyword, which is cool.
Of the high seas. Yes, we have high tide.
Yeah.
High tide. Happy 420 to those who celebrate. If there are 2 or more blue cards in your pitch zone, this gets +1 power and go again. which is pretty cool. Feels like I think this is the first time when we've cared about multiple. Oh wait, no. Outside of like missed heroes, we haven't had like blue. Well, they had some, right? You know, if you've or no, or was that more just played? Anothos. Yeah,
Anothos cares about cost.
Yeah, it cares about cost. So this is caring about the color, the pitch color. I think this is the first time I do it. If I'm wrong, someone will tell me.
For blue, anyway, we have obviously Prism.
Yeah, of course, that's what
BS for yellows
and red for our draconic friends. Yeah, so thought this was pretty cool to see a pirate action.
The thing that blew my mind the most, I was like, oh, right. Yeah, it was a Gravy Bones' ship for sure. And then we were looking at it and I was like, holy shit, this is just pirate. So this is all three of them can be on the USS Conqueror of the High Seas.
The USS Conch.
Which is pretty sick that all the heroes can run this. 4 for 7, 4 for 8 with Go Again, and you can pummel it.
Yeah.
You can play Command and Conquer afterwards.
Yeah. After you've destroyed all the cards in their arsenal and made gold for it, you can just play C and C again. C on C's into C and C.
Nice. All right. So then I think the last most interesting thing that is fucking wild.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Is these fucking treasure packs. Like nobody cared. The map slot, that's fun. The gold slot, that's fun. And then we have our lost treasures, which this shit is wild. Is it the lost treasure or the relics? What did he call it? Fuck.
I don't know. And I was there. There were too many different things and slots and other bullshit in these things. It's the lost treasures.
Lost treasures, yeah.
Yeah. It's a lost treasures, which the crowd went insane for Polycranka. And then it was like a dull murmur as James explained this and played the video where he like shows off what is happening. And what James is doing is putting in 43 of his own unique cards from his personal collection into these booster packs.
There's a signed cold foil I have Ophidia going in there.
By James White.
That's crazy.
Like, or then he like talked about just insane stuff like a double-sided full art Starvo test print.
Yeah.
There's no hero text on either side. It's just Starvo.
Yeah, the Marvel test print for the Great Library of Solana.
Yeah.
So some things that you could not have not been able to get in any other way unless James owes you money.
And you happen to like Flesh and Blood
in these packs, which is like so crazy. I think he said 1 in 1,000 treasure packs will have one of these lost relics, which means that's 1 in every 1,000 boxes. Yeah. Which is crazy. But yeah, I guess, that means there's 43,000 boxes being printed. So I don't know. If you're feeling lucky, go in. I think the treasure pack is fun. I like that there's a treasure slot that no matter what is going to be a cold foil. That is fun. I believe there are still cold foils in this set, the Marvels at least. I don't know if commons are completely taken out of the set as cold foils, but I don't know. This guarantees it in like a fun way. You can either open it at the beginning or the end of your box, and
just the lost treasure. At first, I was like, "All right, who cares about these things?" And then he talked about this, and I was like, "What the fuck? This is the craziest, coolest thing a person in charge of like an entire company to make money could do, you know? Like what a cool way to drive sales for your product, you know?
Yeah.
Just like
Just straight gambling. Like, here
Yeah.
you go. You might find a fucking, I don't know if there's like a gold foil tunic in there or if there's like
I think there
first
is.
edition
'Cause
tunic.
he said, yeah, tunic in the video. I'm
There's
pretty sure.
Marvel original prism that you only get if you win that statue or whatever. Like just crazy. So pretty big swing there. And pretty
Huge.
cool of him to give. I wouldn't want to give my shit up. I'm sure he's got more copies, but still, it's pretty wild. Also, a Marvel Poly. I mean, that's the one people are gonna want. That shit's wild.
Yeah, pretty sick. Yeah, so that was just a crazy. It kind of sealed the idea for me that High Seas is cool because, I mean, I still am not excited to collect any of it. But the fact that they were like, we're going all in on this pirate theme. We're going in on the theme of this set in as many ways as we possibly can was really cool. And I feel like they haven't leaned in to the sets that they've put out in that way ever. And so I felt like this was a cool step for them to take.
I'm buying boxes again.
They got him.
Every time I think I'm out,
they pull me back in.
They promised me some good shit. All right, and that was it. That was the keynote.
Whole keynote. And then they turned into live dev talk. And we were like, why is dev talk so walk? And then we left. I think we still have that banner too. We can just.
How come?
There it is.
Why does she so walk? Classic goof from us.
So then we left and it was fucking crazy. And we slept like little babies and played in the Pro Tour, which you will have to stay tuned, subscribe so you can hear part 2 of the International Men of Mysteries London tour by Lupine Fiasco. I told him, I was like, did you pick up that we memed your name and rebranded all world tours to Lupine Fiasco World Tours on the podcast? He was like, no, but thank you.
That was good. Lupine's Fiasco's World Tour brought to you by fucking Malibu rum or something. I don't know.
If you remember a specific
Cold harpoons
episode that is, let us know in the comments below. Anything before we get out of here? Sorry, I've also yawned so much on this podcast.
God.
Visually, not verbally. So if you're just listening, it's great. Also, if you wanted
Blake sneezed once too.
Yeah, you could probably hear that. And if you're some kind of sicko, want to see what I look like while I'm trying to hold in a yawn, then you could go do that by watching the YouTube video.
All right. Well, I gotta go get my Prism deck together.
We love sickos.
Yeah, see you Thursday, Colin.
Hell yeah. Colin's doing it. He said it live on the podcast.
Dorinthia will be ready.
Oh, God damn it. I'm not going anymore.
Poke.
You can't poke me.
There are no poppers in that deck, so you're just going Herald.
That's
Angel,
true.
Herald. Over and over. And then you pop out the library and you go, get fucked.
Jagged Edge.
I don't know what that card does. You'll have to explain
You'll
it to
figure
me.
it out on Thursday.
Don't
It's
flip
better
it.
if you it's better if you don't know it's coming.
Great. I don't.
Control T, look it up right now. Just so you know.
Jagged Ed. Jagged Ed? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Edge. Just basically means you can't block damage that would be prevented.
Those
So
special
does it
shields are
blow up
getting
all my ward?
Correct.
Well, don't worry. She doesn't make that many spectral shields.
Except for your angels have ward.
Yeah, but they're only out there for like a turn.
It's true.
I've watched these guys play now. I know what I'm doing.
Hell yeah. Herald, Angel, Herald. Pop this shit, bitch. You can't.
Arclight Sentinel. Fuck you.
Yeah, I have to dodge those. Pretty bad.
Die.
This is America. Shut the fuck up. All right, good night.
Bye-bye.